Thank you so much, Angie, for sharing with us your thoughts. Now we have our second speaker of the night, and we have a sixth speech called Men's Room Business or Etiquette. So please welcome our friend Faisal for his sixth speech. Thank you.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and valuable guests. Last summer, I went back home to Indonesia. I went to a mall, and then after I explored the mall, I decided to go back home. In the meantime, I decided to stop by a men's room, or a toilet, basically. The place was quite deserted, and also it was during the late evening. When I entered the stalls and I began to took my stance, suddenly, out of nowhere, there is a gentleman next to my stall greeting me. He was like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I was like, ew. It's crazy. Never had I ever had a conversations with the strangers in the toilet, doing my own business. And then out of nowhere, I just happened to answer it. I just happened to answer him, so I replied, "I'm doing fine." I think he was encouraged by my answer, so he began to ask again, "So how is life?" And then I was like blown away by his questions because that was a very deep question. But then I keep answering saying that, "Not much, just minding my own business." It is not until a few seconds later where he said, "Okay, is it okay if I come to your side right now?" And that is the times where I get to start panic. And I just pack my stuff, I zip my pants and whatnot. And then I just quit the nearest exit right away. And then about 1 second later, I found this guy came out from the stall. He was holding his cell phone. And he said, "I'll call back to you later."
Oh.
There is a strange guy next to my stall who keeps answering my questions. Turned out he was not even talking to me. Anyway, so this experience linked to my past stories where I used to live in America 6 years ago. It was in the situations where I had a casual dinner conversations with one of my female friends, and then we got into an argument. Her point was men lack restroom etiquettes. Of course, as a man, I disagree with it because why is it? Why should be a man? And then her point was like, okay, it's because basically whenever I pass by men's rooms, I always see men. They always buckling up. They always zipping up. Even they always adjust. Some of them, not always. Some of them adjust their underpants or underwears. It is so gross, she said. So that's why she said men like restroom etiquettes. I was so embarrassed during that time because it was during our dinner and we talked about it. And also, at some point, I believe that is true to some extent. However, I don't think that it has something to do with etiquettes. So I began to ask some of my relatives, my family, and also my colleagues about it. And then I come up with some good results of observation. And basically in America, we consider or we can think women's rooms as a cocktail party, which means most of the women will go to the toilet or the restrooms in the group or in the party. And they will mingle, they will chat, they will gossip, they will frame themselves even in the restroom. Now, if you go to the men's rooms, it is completely different. I'm not talking about the obvious differences, but I'm talking about there's no such thing in men's rooms. When we go to men's rooms, me and Jose, when we go to a men's room, we will just do our business, and then just get out, and that's it. So there's no chit chat in the men's room. And here I'm going to share to you, for you females who are wondering, how men approach the men's rooms before they get there. So basically there are 3 general rules and 5 strategies. So the general rules are, number 1, basically men, they don't go to restrooms in a group. Like we don't invite our buddy to come together. We never do that. Number 2, we usually don't communicate in the restroom. Because why would you chat in a restroom? You have park, you have library, so you can chat everywhere, but not in a restroom. And number 3 is that you don't make eye contact. It is just sometimes awkward. You boys, you know what I'm talking about. It is just awkward when you make eye contact. When you were standing and you make eye contact with people next to you. So we don't make eye contact. So that is why if you females go into the men's rooms, you will see most of the boys, they will just stare at the window or at the floor or at the ceiling. So those are the 3 general rules. Now let's move on to I call it as the urinal strategy. This is how you choose the urinal in the men's room. So first thing first, when you enter the men's room or when you enter the toilet, we as a man, we need to adapt ourselves with the layout of the facility. We need to know where's the stall, where's the toilet, where's the urinals, where we can wash our hands and whatnot. And then we begin to apply this 5 strategy. Number 1, we never choose urinals closest to the door or closest to the entrance. We tend to choose the urinals very far away from the door. Number 2, if such urinal is taken, we will choose the alternative, which will be the other urinals further away from it. Rule number 3, if you encounter 3 urinal systems, don't choose the middle one. Never choose the middle one. Because that could be considered the height of rudeness, and you could be considered as a jerk. You could also be considered, you will render the possibility for the urinal to be used by others. And this will lead to number 4, is that never take the urinal in between 2 men. So if you have 3 urinal systems, if it's vacant at the middle, so you just wait, you better wait there. You don't want to get into there. Unless it is in a music concert or it is during a sports venue. And the last thing is, never use the stalls, even though it is just for urinating. Okay? So that's basically the 5 rules that we men tend to do. So let's go back to the original question. Do men lack etiquettes in the men's room? If you ask me, I will give a firm answer, no. Because that is how we tend to do it. We grew up since childhood applying these rules and strategy into our daily behavior. We get in, we do our business, and then we get out. That's it. So the thing is about the business, it's not about the etiquette. And then we tend to go out of the men's rooms as soon as possible. And yes, we often fail to maybe unzip or buckle up our pants in the process. And yeah, I acknowledge that. So this entire story reminds me to one of the topic in the book by John Gray. It's called Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. Basically, he said that men and women are 2 different species coming from 2 different planets. And that is perhaps why men and women perceive such private spaces as men's room or women's room differently. So I will leave that back to you. Is it business or is it etiquette? Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you so much, Faisal, for your interesting experience sharing.
Okay. Oh, excellent. Okay, it's perfect. Okay, it's very well, probably the best speech that I've ever heard. Toastmaster. Okay. So you command a very fluent speech and you are very articulate, okay, in pronouncing every word. And you speak English just like an angel with the fluency of a native speaker. And you try to get across some deep thoughts, okay, but you use a plain and simple language to make sure that the audience can understand you all right, can follow you. As far as your contents are concerned, I think, okay, you just brought forth some interesting points about the toilet etiquette, okay, and okay, the urinal, okay, whatever the urinal strategies, okay. Also, I think you have had a very keen observation and a very deep understanding of the differences in, okay, the behavior pattern between males and females while using the toilets. Okay. So you went into great explains and went into great details, okay, by formulating 3 rules of menstrual etiquette and the urine strategies. Okay, I think it's, for me, it is an eye-opening experience, and also it is an illuminating experience, because before that, okay, I was not even aware of the so-called toilet etiquette. I just got in the menstrual to get the business done, and that's all. I did not, my mind just went blank when I was doing the business. Okay? I did not think about anything, to tell you the truth. Yeah, every time my mind just went blank. Of course, I'm not as deep a thinker as you are. Okay. Okay, then. So thank you very much. Okay. So now I know that. Okay. I was given to understand that our behavior is essentially determined by our gender, and we all try to play our gender roles and try to live up to the expectations of the society. It's something I learned from you. So thank you very much, and thank all of you for giving us an excellent evening. Okay, see you next time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to Professor